Aura Minerals is a TSX listed, that's a Canadian listed mid-tier gold and copper production company focused on the development and operation of gold and base metals in the Americas. Aura fully owns 3 gold copper operations in Brazil, Mexico, and Honduras. That's 3 gold copper mines to you and me. They're a big player. They also have 4 projects at different stages of development in Brazil and Colombia. Aura expects to reach annualized production of at least 400 kilograms to 480 kilogram ounces of gold equivalent by 2024, an over 50% increase compared with their 2021 production. So lots of growth potential there as well. Now I'm joined live by Kleber Cardoso, and he's the Chief Financial Officer at Aura Minerals. Where are you talking to us from, Kleber?
From Miami. So Eastern time here is 2:30 p.m.
2:30 p.m. And that's the headquarters for Aura Minerals, is it?
Yes, that's correct.
Fantastic, Kleber. Right, over to you. You tell us the company investment story.
So sure, let me first share my screen. So I think the most common questions nowadays, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen. It's looking beautiful. Thank you very much.
Yeah, okay. So let me start first introducing Aura Minerals for those who don't know the company. So Aura Minerals is a growing gold and copper producer with operations throughout the Americas. As Donald was saying, we have 3 assets under operations. We have the Aranzazu gold and copper mine located in Mexico. We have the Sandres gold mine in Honduras. And we have the APP gold mine located in Brazil. Besides those 3 operating assets, we have 4 projects which we expect to put in production in the next couple of years, which are going to help for the growth of the company. They are the Almas gold project, also located in Brazil, should come in production at some time in 2023. We have the Matupá gold project, also located in Brazil, which is going to come in production in 2024. And we have 2 additional projects, also the San Francisco gold project, also located in Brazil, and the Toda Fria project in Colombia. In 2021, Aura reported $445 million in revenues, which was a 50% increase compared to the previous year. So 21 was an important growth year for Aura Minerals. In terms of EBITDA, we reported $185 million in EBITDA in 2021. It was a record high for the company's history, and over 50% increase compared to the previous year. And we are a pretty much unlevered company, so we have 0 net debt over EBITDA. So we have around $160 million in cash equivalents to invest and put some of these projects in operations, and the equivalent amount in gross debt. So in terms of breakdown of our revenues in our production in terms of geography and type of metals. So in 2021, about 40% of our gold equivalent production came from Mexico. So in Mexico, about 2/3 of our revenues are coming from copper, we convert to gold equivalents, and 1/3 is gold. 33% came from Honduras. It's a gold asset. We just produced Honduras, gold out of Honduras. And Brazil accounted for 23% of our production. The United States was just 4% of production. That was a discontinued operation, which we put in care and maintenance in 2021. Sorry. In terms of breakdown by type of metals, gold is our main product. About 3/4 of our revenues came from gold in 21, and 24% from copper. And Aura is a growing story. In 2021, we produced 269,000 ounces of gold equivalents, which was a 113% increase since 2016, and over 100% also increase since 2018. So a strong increase in the last 3 years. And we expect to achieve at least 400,000 ounces of gold equivalent in production by 2024, by putting especially the projects Almas and Matupá in operations in the next couple of years. In terms of dividends, Aura paid $85 million in dividends during the year of 2021. that represents a dividend yield of 13.5%. That was by far the highest dividend yield among all gold producers listed on the Toronto Stock Exchange. So, Donna and everyone, I can say that besides being a growing story, Aura can be considered a dividend story. Aura ranked #1 in the latest TSX 30 ranking, which evaluates the top performing companies in terms of share price for the last 3 years. So among all the companies in the mining and non-mining sectors listed on the Toronto Stock Exchange, Aura was #1 with over 1,000% in share increase in the last 3 years. But as I'm going to show later, it's still with room to grow. A little bit more in details our growth plan. As I presented before, Aura grew between 2018 and 2021 more than 100%. So between 21 and 22, it should be more stable year. So we have some increase, but it's a marginal increase as we're going to be focused on the construction of Almas. So Almas is currently under construction. We should do most of the construction this year in 2022. Should start producing by the second quarter of 2023. Almas itself should add between 50 and 55,000 ounces of gold to our annual production, and is a mine with 16 years of life of mine. So it's a pretty long decent new mine we're going to add to our portfolio. Matupá is another project that we have in-house. We just issued a preliminary economic assessment on Matupá. We are currently working on a feasibility study, which should be completed this semester. In Matupá, we expect to go in production by 2024, which should add another around 60,000 ounces of gold production period. So if you take just our current production, what we expect to come from Almas and what we expect to come from Matupá, we should get to the 400,000 ounces of analyzed production by 2024. And then we have some upsides. We call some management targets, some challenge for us here at management to exceed that number by either increasing. We have marginal increase opportunities at all assets to increase production in all of them, all the current assets. So we can go above the 400,000, and also opportunity maybe to speed up São Francisco, which was the next project in line. So if we're able to accelerate and bring in production by 2024, we can achieve to our upside to 480,000 of gold equivalent production by 2024 from annualized basis. In terms of reserves and resources, so we are increasing our production significantly in this last couple of years, but despite the increase in production, we have also been able to increase our reserves and resources base. So here we bring our reserves and our resources between 2017 and 2020. Within this period, there was an increase of 30%. Despite an increase in production. So despite the increase in production, we have been able to more than replace what has been consumed by our mines, and increasing our reserves and resources base, and therefore our life of mine. It's partially due to our increasing exploration investments. So increased by 3 times between 2017 and 21. The amount we are investing in exploration. In 22, we're planning to invest again over $20 million in exploratory activities. So we expected to see this increase in reserves and resources beyond the increase in production to continue in the next couple of years. On this page, we bring a simple analysis on expected returns of newly announced gold projects, comparing our projects here at Aura Minerals and some of our peers. On the far left side, we did an internal analysis, what was the internal rates of return for the Aranzazu, which our mine in Mexico, which we restarted at the beginning of 2019. So considering what we have invested in the expected returns for the next few years, we are talking about over 200% internal rate of return per year. So it's an incredible return for the Mexican mine. But the two projects that we have in the portfolio, which I talked about, the Almas project and the Matupá, they are all also among the highest expected returns in the gold industry. So the Almas Gold project, for example, is expected to deliver 57% of internal rates of return per year during the 16 years of life of mine, considering first gold price at $1,558, and now I think today everyone is seeing gold is above $2,000 per ounce, you know, so we were pretty conservative on gold prices and unleveraged. So if we leverage almost at least by 50% and consider 1,800, for example, gold prices, that internal rate of return go above 100%. It's rarely seen, you know, in any type of business, that kind of internal rate of return. Matupá also is at 39% expected internal rate of return with the same base. Gold price at $1,550 per ounce and unleveraged. Considering more current prices and leveraging project, that should exceed 80%. Another very good and very attractive projects. Are two projects with very low cash costs. So that's why the expected returns are so high. On this page, we bring an analysis. For me, it's a very interesting analysis on the cash costs of the company. So for this analysis, we use the database provided by Wood Mackenzie. So Wood Mackenzie has a very large database in which they take the projects and mines, gold projects from public companies, and they try to compare apples to apples. So in that analysis in 2020, Aura was in the middle of the third quartile in the cash costs. In 2021, with our increasing production, economies of scale, and also investments we did in efficiencies to reduce the cash costs, we are in the low third quartile, so a much healthier position already in 2021. But the good news is, as we see Almas and Matupá, they will, as I said, they have a very low expected cash costs. They're expected to be in the first quartile. So when they come in production, we expect to see Aura to be like a solid second quartile player with these new two projects in its portfolio. On this page, we bring the valuation analysis. As I was saying before, despite our share price increasing over 1,000% in 3 years, we see that Aura is still undervalued. So we bring, for example, here on the left side of the page, two analyses, one comparing price over NAV multiples, comparing Aura with some peer group. So we see that comparing with the average of the peer group, Aura is 26% discounted. And also below here on the bottom of the page, price over projected cash flow. So under that analysis, the discount is even higher with the same peer group. Aura, it seems to be discounted by 50%. So again, I think different analysis indicate a good opportunity. And on the right side of the page, we bring another interesting analysis that, okay, it's comparing the PNAV multiples for our current peer group, that is companies with production below 400,000 ounces per year, and companies with production annual production of above 400,000 ounces of gold equivalent per year. We see the bigger companies, they trade at higher multiples. So we believe there is an opportunity as we keep growing, we are going to see a reprice on our shares in the next couple of years. And finally, I'd like to end our presentation with this slide that brings our 306 mining concept. So we literally use this very same slide to show you in all our internal presentations, in our external presentations, just I'm doing right now, in interviews when interviewing candidates, because this is part of our values. So the 360 mining, it includes ESG, but it's much broader than ESG. We're bringing the slides at the beginning of the presentation of the internal meetings, for example, we have to provoke us to ask ourselves, okay, what are the impacts of our actions or our decisions in each of the meetings to the community, for example. And when we talk community, we have the social side, so what's going to be the impact for the people who live in the communities, but also in the environment which we're part of. We also look at the expected impacts for our employees. So first is in terms of safety. So we have a zero accidents target here at Aura. Safety is our top priority. And also how our actions and decisions are going to help with the development, our personnel, with retention of talent, with promotion of diversity. So we have a very strong meritocratic environment in which we try to bring, attract, keep, and reward high talent. So that's also important for us to think on a daily basis. And finally, on the company side, of course, when I talk about company, one of them is shareholders' return, because I think we all have to deliver return to their shareholders. That's definitely part of our job. But also, what's going to be the impact on corporate governance, for example, on innovation in terms of process for our company, for the industry, or even for the world. So I'd like to bring these in a closer presentation with our values that we try to live on a daily basis as we're growing the company.
Fantastic. That's wonderful. Thank you. That's so interesting. Let me just ask you if, given that you're cash positive, you pay 13.5% in dividends and you grew 32% in 2021. You've still got a lot of money. What's the potential use of those funds? Do you see potential M&A ahead? What's the answer to that?
Yes, so M&A is part of our strategy. So we are looking, we have analyzed internally over, I think, 35 or 40 teasers in different stages, etc. So, but we are being very selective because we have a nice story. Our current operating assets are generating very high returns, as we saw. We always compare with Almas and Matupá, which are two very nice projects, no? So yes, acquisitions is part of our growth strategy, but we have tried to be very selective to make the acquisitions. So
would that be another mid-tier, or would that be a junior miner? And would that simply be in Canada or further afield?
It's probably in the Americas. So as you saw, we are a player in the Americas. There are lots of opportunities in the Americas, preferentially in the jurisdictions where we operate, or North America. We always getting familiar. So we avoiding what we say geological risk. So we're looking for potential targets, either companies that currently in operations or close to be on operational stage, but which already have reserves and resources and a decent life of mine.
Okay, I mean, the fact that you're such a well-run company and doing so well, in a funny way, it actually puts a lot of pressure on you, though. You were the top performing stock in the Toronto Stock Exchange over 3 years, you tell us. Does that? Yeah. There must be some real pressure to keep replacing reserves and resources constantly, because you seem to have managed it for a couple of years hence. But you must be sitting there thinking, crikey, we've done it to 2024. What next?
Yes. So I've been here with the company for a little bit over the 3 years right now. What I can say is both here at shareholder level, board and management, what we try to have is discipline. So okay, I can tell you in late 2018, the long plan, the vision for 2024 was quite similar. So in mining, there are few shortcuts. Okay, geology, for example, takes time. You have to invest. do the deliverables, go to the labs, get results. You have to be patient and diligent and avoid shortcuts. So what we're trying to do is building a company that's going to bring value in the long term. We saw we're delivering value in the short term, so 1,000% for 3 years is significant, but we have the long term in mind. So we're trying to create a big, robust company, well managed, in avoiding to take shortcuts. So I think that's important in terms of pressure. Okay, what's the right thing to do? How we're going to create shareholder value? How we're going to increase the life of mine, like you're saying, with good management and avoiding shortcuts and having the discipline and sticking to our long-term plan.
Okay, you return a lot to investors in dividends. Why is it important to be known as a big dividend player? I mean, you pay substantially more than other people do. Is that how you want to differentiate yourself from other mid-tier gold producers?
Not necessarily. So I'll say we are.
Why then? Why?
Yeah, we're both. We are a growth company and a dividend company. So we see we're delivering on both sides. So
is a dividend a way of hooking in institutional shareholders?
Yeah, no, but yeah. So in terms of dividends, like we saw, we're a strong dividend player, but also we grew by over 100% our production, and we can increase by another 50%. So we want to differentiate by both. It's hard to be a growth company and dividend company. So what showed in 2021 that is possible. So we paid 13.5% in dividends. We grew the company by 32%. We are putting money in Almas to build Almas, which is a non-operational asset yet, and we have zero net debt. So we're trying to have a combination to maximize shareholder value. And shareholder value is partially dividends, part of that growth, but with low risk. And when I mean low risk is okay, let's work with a low leverage. Let's diversify our portfolio in terms of jurisdiction. We believe this is what maximizes shareholder return. Everyone's looking for high returns and low risk, and we're trying to differentiate ourselves by trying to combine a little bit of both.
And what does your shareholder base look like? Is it mainly institutional, or do you have retail shareholders in there?
Yeah, so a combination. We have a controlling shareholder, which has a 51% stake in the company, which is a group of Brazilian investors. They founded Yamana Gold like many years ago, which today is 4 or 5 times our size. In 2016 or 17, they saw the opportunity of acquiring the control of our minerals and do a story similar or even bigger than Yamana. So they are the strategists now with a very successful group, strategic investors of Brazilian investors. And
they've been very helpful to you in terms of your growth and strategizing on your behalf a little bit, perhaps.
Yes, definitely. So it's something they did with Yamana Gold. They founded Yamana, grew Yamana significantly to build today one of the major gold companies. Now they joined our story a few years ago. We are seeing the results now have been very positive in providing a lot of strategy. But other than that, we have we have funds. We have over 40,000 retail investors also in our shareholder base. So it's and growing.
And they're listed in Brazil. It's a Brazil listing that gets you the 40,000 retail shareholders.
Yes, mainly. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, ours is a dual listed company. We have shares listed on the Toronto Stock Exchange. Then we have BDRs. BDRs is like receipts, just like ADRs, listed in the Brazilian market. So and then we have this shareholder base. Some of them even in interchange position, but they are Brazil, the other in Canada. That's quite flexible.
Okay, let me take you to Honduras. If you could sum up what's been taking place in Honduras recently, our audience will not know this, positive or negative. They don't know what's happening in Honduras. So just fill us in what has happened there, and how will it all play out in the future? Is there anything to be worried about there?
Yeah, so Honduras around 1 week ago, yeah, more or less 1 week ago, there was an announcement by the Ministry of Mines, Energies, and Environment that they would ban open pit mines in general, metallic and non-metallic. But then, yeah, there were some concerns. We had to issue a press release about that we didn't know what that
you run a big open pit heap leach mine in
yes,
Honduras.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So it's 1/3 of our production. But then on Friday, we just issued yesterday a new press release clarifying. So apparently there was a misunderstanding. What the government wants to do is to target non-regulated mining activities, illegal mining. So because that's exactly what destroyed the environment. The goal of the government, they always stated was, okay, we want to take care of our water, our rivers, our environment. So we all know that mining is sustainable if done in the correct way. So if you have like we do have the 360 mining concepts, if you follow the applicable legislations, etc., that's a sustainable business. But we all know in all parts of the world, especially in the developing countries, there is a lot of illegal mining, no permits, that don't follow the
artisanal mining.
Yes, exactly. Artisanal, that might use some checkable products. I don't know. So this is their focus. So on Friday, the Ministry of Energy and Mining, he held a press conference in which he clarified. He said, okay, I want to make sure that everyone that has permits are working according to the environmental laws. You guys are not our targets. So we are targeting for those who are destroying the nature things up here. Artisanal guys without permits, etc. So
fantastic. Okay, Kleber. Last question for you. My final question: what news flow can we expect from you over the next 6 months, and why should UK investors invest in you?
Yeah. So I think then in the near future is going to be developments of Amazon and Patapata. So in 6 months, we should be quite advanced in the construction of Almas. So I think we are going to keep the market updated on the progress. So far, we are on budget, on schedule. That's going to be, our main project is Almas now. In Matupá, we should complete the feasibility study and be able to put something like more details in terms of, okay, when we expect exactly to start building Matupá, looking for alternatives of financing, etc. So I would say the 2 big projects which are going to help us deliver the growth that we're representing here today are Almas and Matupá. So I think that's something people should pay attention. And for the investors, what I say is what I'm saying now. I think in terms of what differentiates us is shareholder return. So some people like the growth, some people like dividends. We have been delivering both. So I think it's we're maximizing total shareholder returns. So I think that's good. And the other thing is I think people look to avoid risks. So by having, like I'm saying, okay, strategic investors behind us with over 40 or 50 years of experience in gold mining sector with very positive track record, professional management team, conservative financial policy in which we try to work with very low leverage, and right now it's close to zero. In diversified mining operations like we do have, I think that all reduces the risk. So I think all investors are looking at maximizing shareholder return, but at the same time taking care of potential risks that the business in a business.
Okay. Kleber Cardoso, we're out of time. That was absolutely fascinating. Thank you so much for joining us from Miami this afternoon for you and this evening for us. That was fantastic. Kleber Cardoso, Chief Financial Officer at Aura Minerals.
Aura Minerals. Thank you.
Aura Minerals. Remember that name, Aura Minerals.
Yes, and we are available. We have a very active investor relations. So anyone who is watching us, if you have any questions, feel free to getting our website, send a message to our investor relations officer and team. We reply usually very quickly.
Fantastic. And not only that, so there you go, you've got the offer of investor relations team. But if you'd like to buy shares in Aura Minerals in the UK, which some of you might, having watched that, or any other TSX or TSX venture listed stocks, then Interactive Investor, we've been doing our research on your behalf. Interactive Investor trade them on their platform, and the price, only £7.99 per trade. And that's it from us after another great night.